Hello and welcome to Touchstarved. This is a dark romance visual novel featuring 5 love interests with interconnected roots, and the full game is supposed to have more than 15 endings. Depending on your choices, they will end either in romance or horror, so fun. I've had this game kind of on my radar for a while, but I haven't dug into it at all, so we'll do that today with the demo. Apparently this is the second version of the demo that came out last month, but yeah, either way, I don't know too much about this, so let's get into it. Disclaimer: streamers and content creators should set music volume to 0 in order to disable copyrighted music. I don't care, but we might have to fiddle with the settings a bit. This is a demo of the Touchstarved prologue and not the finished product. Thank you. Content warning: Touchstarved is intended for an older audience. It contains mature content that includes, but is not limited to, horror, graphic violence, strong language, alcohol and drug references, injury and dismemberment. Player discretion is advised. If you accept the content warning, please click to proceed. Tutorial. In Touchstarved, your choices matter. The decisions you make may result in unique dialogue, interactions, or even choices in red text which contain exclusive content. Okay. Try playing through the demo more than once and choosing different options. You might even uncover a secret ending. And remember, there are no wrong choices, only interesting ones. Choose wisely and save often. And that's how I usually play. Controls should be pretty standard. Okay. Choose your name. Yeah, we can customize our MC in a sense. I'll just go with K. Choose your pronouns. I'll keep to she, her for now. This world began to unravel long before you were born. It all started with fogfall. Spectral mist bled from the seams where reality was so thin it split. And from that fog emerged monsters, inhuman beings with unnatural powers. Some possessed language and intellect, others were mindless beasts driven by little more than bloodshed. As unrest spread and cities fell, humans cowered in fear while monsters thrived amid the chaos. And then there's you. You don't know what you are, but one terrible truth is certain. You were born cursed, with hands that alter the minds of those you touch. Choose your backstory. Okay, select your origin. We have 3 options. The Unnamed, a fallen oracle. You were raised as an oracle in a remote temple. The priests claimed your touch bestowed enlightenment, but a visiting mage revealed your curse for what it is. Spurred on by the mage's word, you fled in search of the cenobium. You regularly experience unnatural premonitions that rattle your body and soul. An innate sixth sense gives you a heightened awareness of hidden supernatural presences. Okay. Right, so depending on our origin we have different abilities. The Exile, a solitary survivor. You were exiled to a life far from civilization. Your only kinship was with an elderly hermit who taught you how to survive in the wild. He lost his life in search of a cure for you, but left you with a final lead to pursue the cenobium. You're a seasoned survivalist, well versed in deciphering soulless behaviors. You've gained fluency in various languages and an uncanny intuition for detecting danger. Sounds good as well. The Alchemist, an abandoned mage. An exiled cenobium mage took you in as a child, raising you as her apprentice. She seemed to take pity on your curse, but you discovered that she was cultivating you as a test subject. You fled to the cenobium, seeking a cure. You're an experienced spellcaster with an encyclopedic knowledge of alchemy, spellcraft, and history. With a little observation, you can identify the subtle effects of magic. Oh, okay. That all sounds good, actually. I think I'm gonna go with the unnamed Fallen Oracle. Your name is Kay. You selected your pronouns. Your backstory is the unnamed. Is this correct? Yes. So depending on your origin, I guess you also have different options, different choice options. The wasteland stretches as far as the eye can see. There's nothing out here but death, the ever-present stench of decay, and countless sun-bleached bones cast like seeds across the barren land. I could say death doesn't scare me, but honestly, I'm desperate. It's been 2 weeks since I joined a caravan bound across the wastes. Finding a group that would accept me was a trial in itself. I can hide my hands and deflect probing questions. But sooner or later, people always suspect something strange about me. As rations grew sparse and canteens ran dry, tensions rose. Despair began to set in, until I saw it. Iridia, the city of knowledge, one of the last bastions of humanity left in the world, and home to the famous academy called the Cenobium. All the world's knowledge gathered in one place. If there's anywhere I'll find a cure for my curse, it's there. Okay. All that stands between me and a new life is a final stretch of salt-soaked wastes, or so I think, until I see the first tendrils of fog snaking beneath the wagon. Is this fogfall? My stomach sinks at the very whisper of it. A silent storm more devastating than fire. Dangerous in cities, but a death sentence beyond them. A thick blanket of fog engulfs us, snuffing out the lantern's light. The wagon lurches to a stop. An eerie silence, heavy as the mist, falls over us. The only warning we get is a strangled scream. "Stay back! No!" The cry dissolves into wet gurgling. Then the wagon violently pitches to the side. I hit the ground hard, the air punched from my lungs. When I open my eyes, adrenaline lends sudden, awful clarity to the carnage around me. A trader I once shared bread with lies face down in the mud, the back reduced to long strips of torn muscle, gleaming gristle and exposed bone. Bodies litter the wasteland. I try to rise, but my ankle explodes with pain so blinding, white blooms across my vision. Only when my eyes finally adjust do I see the dark shape before me. A soulless stoops over the twisted form of a caravaneer. I freeze, but it swivels its head. A dozen bulging eyes twitch in my direction and blink as one. The soulless lets out an ear-splitting shriek and charges me. But right before it reaches me, the beast barrels past, vanishing into the mist. A horse screams in the distance. I need to move now. Run for the city, I head towards the wagon. I'm gonna heed their advice and save, as I always would. Think I'm gonna run for the city. I take off, running deeper into the haze. The fog is so thick that I fear I'm headed in the wrong direction, until I see a dim pinprick of light emanating from the shadow of a spire. It's faint, but it's enough. I came too far to die here. Rapid footsteps echo all around me. I turn in circles, frantically searching the opaque mist for the source, but the fogfall twists and stretches sound. Suddenly, the caravan's driver bursts forth from the fog. Our eyes meet too late. He knocks me to the ground and slips in a patch of mud. The soulless instantly falls on him. It catches the driver by his throat and rakes his stomach with razor-sharp claws. He comes apart like wet paper, spilling intestines and viscera in a steaming tide. Fighting the urge to heave, I claw frantically through the slippery muck for a handhold. Shit. My hand catches on the jagged edge of a rib jutting out from the water. Bandages unfurl around the gouge torn deep into my palm. But the pain's quickly forgotten when a hand closes around my wrist. Can you stand? One of the travelers from the caravan leans over me. We need to run. They reach for my hand, and I realize too late that my bandages have come undone. No, don't touch me. The sensation of their thumb brushing the back of my hand sends a shiver down my spine. All it takes is one touch, and in the space of a breath, my curse takes hold. Their lips peel back into a deranged grin. No, I've seen this face countless times before. This is my curse, madness of my own making. Their grip on my hand tightens until pain radiates from my knuckles. Let me go. Suddenly, clammy hands crush my throat, choking off my breath. Die, 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 die. Spit bubbles at the corners of their mouth and flecks my face. The edges of my vision darken as my lungs shriek for air. Scream for help or fight them off? You know what, why not? Is there someone to help us? I think we have to fight. My nails gouge deep into the traveler's wrist, but no matter how much blood I draw, they don't flinch. The more I struggle, the tighter their grip grows. My pulse hammers in my ears, slowing with each thudding beat. This can't be happening. I'm going to die. And not because of the fogfall or the soulless, but because of my curse. Tears sting my eyes. No, no, no. Not here. Not like this. But then the hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each ragged cough. My vision clears, and the traveler's face takes shape, hovering inches from mine, lips still split in that macabre smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They give one last shuddering breath, then slump over, the claws hooked through their stomach. The soulless shoves the body aside, its glowing eyes narrow as though grinning. There's a flash of claws. Red spills across my vision. I thought there'd be pain, but as I sink into the murky water, all I can feel is the grit of silt filling my mouth and the icy embrace of shallow water. I spot an arm resting among an outcrop of reeds, mine neatly severed at the elbow. It should have taken both arms. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold and alone in a desolate wasteland. A fitting end for a monstrosity like me. I guess that answers the question of whether we can die in the demo. Or If this is death, it's not as bad as I feared. The cold is gone, as is the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thought and sensation vanished. No curse, nobody howling at me in madness and terror, nothing at all. The thought has a terrible appeal to it. But I take a reflexive breath, and air pours into my lungs, then out again in a ragged gasp. Feeling comes flooding back, warm cloth on my bare skin, a firm surface underneath me, a strange tang of sulfur in the air. Do not be afraid. I twist my head toward the voice. Tears flood my bleary eyes at the bright glow of lamplight. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding, but more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cuts through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely at their mercy. Stay away from me. My words come out in little more than a creaky whisper. I clamp my mouth shut, hating how weak and helpless I sound. No. No? Who the hell is this? Sit up or lie back down. I mean, they're obviously trying to help us, so I'm gonna lie back down. I let myself slump back against the thin pillow, wincing when the motion jolts my head. Oh, a cooperative patient. Thank you. The words swim in one ear and out the other without much comprehension. I pull the sheet up higher, wiping my eyes until my vision clears. Hello. The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light limns his pristine medical coat. That's a medical coat? Okay, I think our doctors need to upgrade to this. I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I realize that I'm completely naked except for a thin linen sheet. Naked, lying on a low cot, with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. I plunge my hands under the sheet, though it's too late. He must have noticed what they look like. Strange, cursed, inhuman. I brace myself for his inevitable disgust, but his courteous smile lingers. He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm. You are safe here. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere with anyone. Even the shrine of my childhood turned out to be a horrific lie. I scowl, pulling the sheet protectively around myself. Where are my clothes? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not to be dissuaded. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured replacements. Okay, looking pretty neat here. With a soft creak, he rises from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. This looks like a medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemical concoctions line the counters in neat rows. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke and something distinctly metallic. The doctor produces a large, dense bundle of cloth, which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. Thank you, or could you step out? Let's be cordial for now. I mean, so far he hasn't done anything wrong that we know of, so thank you. I should be polite if I can, especially since I don't know who this is, what he can do, or what he wants with me. Meeting his gaze sends a hot frisson down my spine. Something about him nags at me, like a half-formed memory I can't place. Thank you. You are very welcome. I will leave you to get dressed. With a curt nod, he leaves through a narrow door. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. When I don't hear any more footsteps, I reach for the bundle of clothes. An itch on my elbow stops me short. I reach down absently to rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. I know what I saw. That beast took my arm clean off. And yet, the limb shows no sign of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least gasping out my last breaths. I squeeze my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel, to wake up and find myself bleeding out in the swamp. But nothing happens. The seconds tick by, and my arm remains resolutely healed, my surroundings pristine and quiet. That is really advanced. I mean, reattaching a limb is possible, but oh my god, fixing the nerve endings alone. In numb disbelief, I grab the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, bundled with a black woolen cloak. But there's one thing still missing: my bandages. The doctor didn't leave me with any, though I know he saw my hands. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps toward one of the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, there must be bandages somewhere. I start opening drawers at random, and of course, that's when the door swings open. Are you looking for something? I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump up against the cot. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. That's what I think. That does make me feel better in the slightest, but he makes no move towards me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. The glowing scars and mottled skin disappear under a layer of clean white cotton. Wouldn't gloves be better? But I mean, whatever helps. May I ask why you need additional bandages? I can help if you tell me what ails you. I doubt it. Traveling to Iridia was a gamble born of desperation rather than hope. Nothing has come close to curing my curse. And yet, my left arm twitches, the arm that was severed before my very eyes. The doctor's unblinking gaze follows my every move. It's clear he won't drop this without some sort of answer. The bandages protect me, and they warn others to stay away. I've tried every way of covering my hands, and this works best. Most people avoid touching me as soon as they see the bandages. An illness then, or a less mundane affliction spread by contact. I flinch. He doesn't even sound surprised, and that's far too close to the truth for comfort. Glare at him or decline to answer. Isn't that kind of the same? But yeah, let's try to keep it civil and decline to answer, I guess. Well, it's personal and I don't really want to get into it. I have treated every affliction under the sun. I may have answers that you do not. An involuntary involuntary snort of laughter escapes me. Where would I even begin? Would he even believe me if I told him? I shake my head. I need to know more about this doctor before he figures me out. Who are you? You may call me Courage. I did look up how the names are pronounced, and I think that's it. Courage. And where exactly am I? Iridia, which I assume was your caravan's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Iridia. So I made it to the city of knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I can manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You were the only survivor from the caravan, barely clinging to life. You needed immediate treatment. Which you provided? Yes. He says it so simply, as if I'm a small child and he's explaining basic addition to me. I frown and flex the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine, thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on? Pardon? A soulless attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off. But when I woke up here, I trail off, bewildered. I've never heard of any magic that could heal a mortal wound. Dr. Courage pinches the bridge of his nose. He sits back down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I do not know where you come from, but Iridia is the city of knowledge and deadly secrets alike. Information is power, and one should not give or receive it freely. Since you refuse to divulge your secrets, I will not divulge mine. I do not even know your name. I mean, that's fair. I was just... You are new to Iridia, so I will overlook the specific breach of etiquette. Do not expect others to extend the same courtesy. Do you understand? He glances at my freshly bandaged hands. Loath though I am to admit it, he has a point. I'm a complete stranger to him, yet he saved my life. I take a deep, steadying breath. This time, when I speak, I sound a bit more like myself. Kay. My name is Kay. It is a pleasure to meet you, Kay. And there's a little more warmth in his smile, his polite demeanor back in an instant. Thank you for saving me, or why did you save me? Both very good. One of those instances where I would like to do both. Thank you for saving me. Why did you do it? I'm gonna keep being polite. Thank you for saving my life. I chance a smile in return. Even if he won't explain how he did the impossible, there's no doubt in my mind that I'd be dead if not for Courage. Think nothing of it. I'm not sure if he's just being excessively courteous, but his words only raise more urgent questions. I have to ask, why did you save me? You don't know me. Thank you for actually asking. The question seems to startle Courage. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. Fair. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. There's a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what price Courage might demand for such well-made clothes. No, I suppose not. Forgive my presumption. I rarely come across such a fascinating patient. I blink. What did you just say? I simply meant that few would cling to life so resolutely or brave such a perilous journey to Iridia. I could not help being curious about you, Kay. Really, that was the part. I thought it was more maybe from a science perspective? No? Okay. His voice dips to a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. You're pretty curious yourself, or I don't know what to say to that. Sure, you're pretty curious yourself. Am I? Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of coin, and leaving you destitute in a strange place would be unethical. I fall silent, unsure of what to say. Nobody would help a horror like me for free. There has to be some kind of catch or trick, right? A loud knock at the front door stops our conversation cold and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you are not my only patient today. The knocking grows more insistent, and Courage lets out a tired sigh. Please wait. Sure, don't have anything else to do. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. What? Do you need anything before you leave, Kay? Oh. Between the soulless attack and my miraculous survival, I'd almost forgotten why I came to Iridia in the first place. I need directions to the cenobium. The cenobium. The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation when he speaks again. Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you will find it there. The cenobium's gates open for precious few visitors, and even if they opened for you, you would not like what you found inside. My heart sinks. Is he saying that I came all this way for nothing? Risked life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I've only just arrived, and Iridia is the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Sorry. Then, if not the cenobium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Iridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest a local guide. Head to the Wet Wick and ask for Leander, the leader of the Adderstone. Excuse me, the Wet what? The Wet Wick. He sounds deeply unamused. Follow the Adderstone postings, they are difficult to miss. When you meet Leander, tell him I sent you. There isn't much to go on, but Courage points toward the back door. You will be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. Interesting. So, that was our first encounter. Nice so far. But yeah, everyone will be hiding something, I assume. I find myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. Pull the new cloak up over my nose, stepping over the contents of empty chamber pots. Lovely. Something weighs heavily inside one of the cloak's pockets, my coin purse. Every last coin that I'd scraped together for the journey to Iridia is still inside. The purse doesn't even look like it was opened. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. I glanced back at the clinic's closed door. Courage didn't take any payment. He didn't even ask for a future favor. But he also said that in Iridia, secrets are power. Does he expect me to give up mine at some point? That's not exactly a comforting thought. Still, no matter why he did it, Courage gave me a second chance and a lead on where I might find help. I'd better get going before he changes his mind. I squeeze out of the alley and into the crowded main street. The line outside Courage's clinic stretches down the road. Two thin peddlers queue alongside weathered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. Near the town or the city, it looked very different from afar, didn't it? The cobblestones are treacherously rough under my feet, deep grooves worn between them by regular flooding and decades of hard use. I knew Iridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all crammed together in narrow streets. And there's something else. A charge in the air, like the shift in pressure before a storm. It's subtle, little more than a faint, persistent thrumming, but I can't seem to shake the sensation. So, electricity or some kind of magic? I do see a lamp there, but it doesn't have to be electric, it could be oil. A child darts by, clutching something greasy wrapped in paper. The smell of fried food drifts over to me, and my stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch, fried up hot and fresh, not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting, but I'm starving, so I duck my head under the stall's grubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, its 3 bulging eyes still visible through the thick layer of crispy batter. The vendor gives me a gap-toothed grin. What's the cheapest thing you've got? The vendor points at a metal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh long lads, 3 copper apiece. Don't burn your mouth. I take the coins out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not even be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. Two streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway adorned with dangling garlands of red and pink lilies. The buildings in this quarter are a dizzying riot of colors, painted walls and tinted glass everywhere I look. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in open doorways. Musical voices call out invitingly. Incense mingles with the pungent scent of flowers, barely covering the salt and musk of warm bodies. This must be Iridia's entertainment district. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs from my hands when I spot a poster. It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a single dagger-like earring and the words "The Adderstone" printed above his head. If Leander is the leader of the Adderstone, then the face printed on the poster is likely his. I follow the line of identical posters around a corner and nearly hit my head on a precariously dangling wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read "The Wet Wick." The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside. That was rather quick to find it. No, lovely. It's not even midday, yet the wick is packed. A loose collection of Iridians crowd the bar, taking up the tables and gathering in the spaces between. They speak amongst each other in hushed voices, their faces drawn and grave. I can sense their apprehension even without hearing their words. A cursory glance doesn't turn up anyone with a dagger-shaped earring, and I'm considering searching the bar when a loud voice carries across the room.
No, I'm no prior curator. I'm not much for paperwork or pencil pushing. And honestly, I don't even think those robes come in my size.
I crane my neck, but the crowd is too dense for me to see the speaker.
Gather around, I want to show you all something.
There's no time to move out of the way. The audience surges towards the center of the room in a sudden torrent. I'm caught and swept along with them. Hey! The clatter of falling chairs and tables being shoved aside drowns out my complaints. I thrash and throw at my elbows as heavy bodies press into mine. Caught in the mosh pit? My hip knocks into a table. I grip it, holding on tight to steady myself, but the crowd has stilled. A pair of gilded boots stride across the tabletop.
If you want nothing but guidelines and practical policies and needless bureaucracy, you know where to go.
I jack my eyes upward. A man towers on the table in front of me, arms spread as he addresses his rapt audience.
But I'm not going to wait for word from on high.
His impassioned words provoke nods and excited whispers. But nothing is as captivating as his brilliant smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage.
And unlike those clerics, I don't need the abbess's approval to cast a spell or two.
As he raises his hands above the audience, the dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light in a flash of gold. It seems I found Leander.
These are our streets. We make our own luck here.
He snaps, and a flash of pale green light erupts from his hand. With a flick of his wrist, Leander conjures a ribbon of glittering light. A delicate flower stem sprouts from between his pinched fingers. One by one, glowing lily petals unfurl. Leander raises the flowers with a flourish, and the bar bursts into clapping and cheering. A magic demonstration was the last thing I expected from a place called the Wet Wick. Leander plucks the shimmering flowers out of the air and turns in a slow circle.
Now, who could use some good luck?
Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table, but Leander's cool green eyes slide right over them and lock on me instead.
How about you?
My chest grows tight. Suddenly, I'm in the spotlight. Take the flowers or refuse the flowers? I mean, in a sense, we had both very good luck and very bad luck within the same day. Like, good luck that Courage picked us up. Take them or refuse them, I don't know. I mean, of course, you can never have too much good luck. I'm gonna do a quick save. Sure. I'll take them. I reach out and take the flowers from him, all too aware of my trembling fingers. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stems. As soon as the lilies leave Leander's hand, they dim and they fade away in a shower of opalescent light. To my surprise, Leander laughs under his breath.
That's the problem with flowers. They don't last long, but they leave an impression, right?
He grins at me, and I find myself smiling back. Leander steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd with a clink.
Alright, show's over. Back to work, everyone.
The audience disperses, and Leander heads towards the bar. Now's my chance. I start after him, only to find myself face to face with one of his followers. Where do you think you're going? I need to talk to Leander. Uh-huh. You and half of Lowtown. Leander's busy right now. At his own business. Come back tonight. After the moment we shared, surely Leander can spare a word. But the follower crosses her arms, unmoved. I glance over her shoulder, hoping to catch a glimpse of Leander. As though sensing my gaze, he looks up, and for a moment our eyes lock. Then Leander turns away to murmur something to the group gathered around him. The follower moves to block my view. You hear me? I'm not looking for trouble. This Dr. Courage said I should find Leander. That's... She's interrupted by a hand resting on her shoulder.
Courage sent you?
He said you could help me. Leander nods at the woman, and she steps aside wordlessly.
Follow me.
He leads me to the crowded bar. There's so little room that his broad shoulder presses against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind at all.
Sorry about that. The Eddystone watch out for one another, but they can be overprotective at times.
Lesson learned. Leander flashes me a broad grin.
You're new to Iridia, aren't you?
He says it with a genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much?
No, but I'm certain I'd remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown.
My eyes drop to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery, and being this close makes eye contact difficult. As is on cue, the bartender approaches us.
What'll it be? Surprise me and add anything my friend wants to my tab.
I'll have what he's having, or water's good. Or whatever he's having, it's probably going to be strong, isn't it? And I mean, just water is the humble answer. No, let's see. You know what? I'll have what he's having. I'll have what he's having. While the bartender leaves to fix our drinks, Leander leans his elbows on the counter. His sleeves right up, revealing a long raised scar. I catch myself following its winding path across his forearm. Leander's eyes wander over me in return. When they lock on my bandaged hands, a bitter taste rises in my throat. Here come the questions.
Is there any chance Courage sent you here for cheap drinks or barely edible appetizers?
No. He pushes his hair back from his forehead, sighing when it immediately falls back into place.
That's the doctor for you. Always business. I'm not sure he even knows how to relax.
The bartender returns with a pair of glasses. I raise mine and give it an experimental sniff. It smells faintly yeasty, like beer, but with an undercurrent I can't quite place. A quick sip confirms my worst suspicions. It's awful. Briny and sour, with a distinct hint of pickle flavoring. Ew. Beside me, Leander takes a deep swig from his glass.
So, how can I help you?
I need to get to the cenobium. As soon as the word cenobium leaves my mouth, the group standing nearby falls silent. Great. From the wary looks thrown my way, it's clear I've broken some taboo.
It had to be the cenobium.
Leander pushes away from the counter.
Let's continue this conversation outside.
I rise to follow him. Oh boy. Leander leads me into an alleyway tucked behind the wet wig. Layers upon layers of frayed and faded Adderstone posters plaster the walls. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Leander and his printed likeness is impressive, if abstract.
Courage didn't send you here to ask for a personal escort to the Cenobium, did he?
From his tone, he already knows the answer. No, he suggested that I reconsider.
Yet here you are, asking about a guide anyway.
He looks at me expectantly. I don't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my monstrous capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Leander takes my reluctant silence as an answer.
Are you aware of Iridia's particular currency? Information's worth its weight in gold here. I don't much care for outdated traditions, so I'll be completely honest. The Cenobium won't help you. They're more likely to torture you than lend you a hand.
But the Cenobium's supposed to be a place of learning, a sanctuary. The Cenobium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a shining beacon of hope in a fading world. If any place held answers, it would be the Cenobium. That's why I came here. Leander nods patiently.
You're not the first person to fall to their propaganda. I grew up idolizing the Cenobium. I wanted nothing more than to join their ranks, to learn magic from the best, to make a real difference. I was young and blinded by the legends and the legacy. I was so damn naive.
He shakes his head.
All it took was one trip here to Lowtown to show me the truth. Unless you've got a heavy purse or highborn blood, the Cenobium doesn't give a damn. They'll never open their gates for the ones who need help the most.
Then it's all a lie?
Things that seem too good to be true are often just that.
Such a simple statement, and yet it leaves me reeling. Leander watches me as though weighing something in his mind.
But that doesn't mean you're hopeless. Far from it. I founded the Adderstone to help people like you. We settle disputes, slay feral soulless. Hell, we've even been known to patch a leaky roof or two. Whatever troubles you, we can help. Free of charge.
I'm shaking my head before he's even finished his speech. My patience is wearing dangerously thin. I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. To my chagrin, Leander doesn't look remotely surprised.
Then you're looking for help with something serious, something not even Courage could crack. It must be a truly remarkable problem if you came all the way to Iridia searching for help. Tell me, how can I help you?
Leander may not work for the Cenobium, but he is a mage, a powerful one if his demonstration earlier is any indication. I mean, he manifested lilies that then faded away, while Courage healed our arm, like almost perfectly. If we're going to base it off solely of what we've seen so far, I think Courage is more powerful. But what do I know? Indecision gnaws at me. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I hate to admit it, but this might be my only path forward. My confession comes out in a strained whisper. I'm cursed. He looks me up and down, taking in my face, my eyes, and finally my hands.
Is that why you bandage your hands?
My touch is dangerous. It changes people, hurts them. Before we even finished, Leander pulls his left glove off. He flexes his fingers and grins.
Alright, let's see it.
As he offers me his hand, a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm, but I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Leander is, I won't allow myself to hurt him, to see his kind face unrecognizably warped. I don't want to hurt you.
I'll be fine. Trust me. I've seen enough curses and hexes to last me 2 lifetimes, but I'm still standing. Do you really think Courage would send you here if I couldn't handle it?
How should I know? I only met him today.
I'm twice as good as any Cenobian mage. If anyone can help you, it's me.
You don't know what you're asking me.
I'm asking you to trust me.
I look from Leander's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then I begin unwinding the bandages from my hand. If you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you.
You can tie me up first if it makes you feel better.
His attempt at levity does little to comfort me. With each joint I expose, I grow increasingly certain that this is a terrible idea. But if he's bothered by how my hand looks, he doesn't show it.
Alright, deep breath. On my count.
My fingers hover shakily over Leander's palm.
3, 2, 1.
Hold back or touch him. I was wondering if they not give us a choice here. Of course, that's a good point to save again. I mean, if he's offering... Again, there are bad ends in this. But if you're so confident, let's trust him and touch him. I tap his palm once, as quickly as possible. It's barely more than a brush, but that's all it ever takes. Heart racing, my eyes dart to his face, but Leander only smiles gently.
See?
It can't be. When I reach for his palm again, Leander catches my wrist before I can pull back.
I told you, there's really nothing to worry about.
He trails off when my thumb grazes the soft skin of his inner wrist. I search Leander's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain a clear, soft green. Neither of us speak as I trace the contours of his palm, lost in an awareness I wasn't anticipating. It's not as though I've never been touched before. My curse only extends to my hands, and desperation spurs creativity. But all that pales in comparison to this. I've never experienced such intimacy. My fingers, long deprived by years of bandaging, pick up every single detail. The grooves along his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the bones in his wrist. For as long as I've lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand without dire consequences. I never realized what I was missing. While Leander's pulse is steady, mine hammers as fear gives way to excitement. Keep touching him or let him go? I mean, while we're at it. My hand glides over Leander's wrist and up his arm, where smooth skin abruptly gives way to a raised scar. It matches the one that runs from his collar to cheekbone. Could it be the same wound? When I glance at Leander's face, his lips part as he considers his words.
Am I the first person you've been able to touch like this?
My hand goes still on his arm. So far.
Then is it everything you wanted?
When I nod, Leander turns my hand in his to inspect the gleaming fissures crisscrossing my knuckles. There's no revulsion on his face, no fear. He looks up at me and grins.
It's not every day I meet someone as enticing as gold.
He winks and lets me go. I draw my hand back and take a steadying breath. My head feels like it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hand, although my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked.
I've really forgotten my manners. May I ask your name?
I'm Kay.
Kay, this curse of yours is unlike anything I've ever seen before. I can tell you're careful, but it's best to keep this between us. Are you staying in Lowtown?
I pause. Room and board was something I'd yet to consider. I don't know.
Let's get you properly settled then.
The wig is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of Leander's followers have dispersed, or in a few cases, fallen asleep beside their drinks.
Got any rooms left, or did my lord grab them all to sleep it off?
The bartender, who I now realize doubles as an innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter.
The usual room?
Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. Oh, a little blushy blush?
No, not today. This is just for my friend, Kay. Right, stay as long as you like. You two have fun.
Have fun? Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. I hesitate. My coin purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you?
Nothing. My treat, since you shared your secret. Food, drink, a warm bed, anything you need.
Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small but heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Iridia, let alone free meals. Thank you.
Iridia's twice as dangerous as it is wondrous. Be careful out there. And if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me.
I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into the pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me a friendly wave before returning to the bar. Oh, it's a big room. Dust glitters in the sparse rays of light illuminating the room. The furniture is tired, the walls cracked, and a large lumpy bed serves as the centerpiece. I can't remember the last time I slept in a bed, and I never imagined I'd sleep in one tonight. When I collapse onto the bed, the springs let out shrill squeaks. Finally, I can allow myself to rest. My eyes fall shut before long. Okay, so our first day done. I think I'm going to leave it here for today. I'm not quite sure how long the demo is. However, I assume we are going to meet all the love interests once at least, and seeing as we've only met 2 so far, I think this is a good place to stop for today. Because I mean my throat is a bit weird today. I'm not sure, I think it's just the allergies, but yeah, I think I'm going to split it instead of having one massive video again. But yeah, that was very interesting so far. Like we started off with a bang right into the action. Didn't quite expect that, but also the tones of the characters so far is a bit different than I thought. A lot more positive, but of course that doesn't mean that we won't get any more horrors along the way. Yeah, I think that was it for me today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'd appreciate if you'd let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, bye bye.